Always put yourself first before others. Because if you do the opposite, you will suffer. It is a simple fact. If you are able to take care of yourself, if you are able to take care of your health, if you are able to take care of your grooming, you look presentable. If you're able to take care of your own finances, if you're able to take care of your relationships with people, if you're able to take care of what you eat, you eat a lot of healthy stuff. If you're able to take care of all of these things, you create more value to the world. You have more energy. You are able to bring more value to others. But if you do the opposite, where you do so much for other people, but you don't focus on improving yourself, a lot of the times people may take advantage of you, and in the process you just feel very, very exhausted mentally and physically. Whereas if you invest in yourself, if you invest in the way you look, your health and what you eat and the knowledge that you attain, if you're able to do all of these things, you are creating value. You are creating more value for the person that you're trying to help, or the person that you want to help, you want to give service to. That is the most important thing. Self-care is so important, especially for your mental health, because a lot of people are very empathetic. They really love to give to others, and sometimes they do it too much, and then they just feel very, very, very tired. They feel very drained, and they still feel a sense of they don't feel like true like fulfillment, or they don't feel truly happy because they're not focusing on themselves. They're not working on themselves. That is super important to do, especially if you are in a relationship with someone. If you're always putting that person first before you put yourself first, if you're always being available, you're always doing so much for that person, eventually that person will start to disrespect you, and even that person may realize at a certain point that you're not even working on yourself, that you look really tired, right? They can tell by the way that you dress, by your eyes, a lot of stuff, because you're giving out too much, and you also need to rest. Rest is very important as well. When you give back to society, when you're doing so much for people, you need to remember to take it easy and to have a break. You know, as fulfilling as it may be to help others and to do all of these things, you also need to have a balance. You need to be able to rest. You expel energy. When energy is expelled, it also needs to be replenished, but it needs to be rested. Your brain needs a rest. It's just like sleep. When you're sleeping, you're recovering, right? So you have more energy for the next day. So it's just like that, where if you are able to if you're able to prioritize yourself before others, then you can give more back to others. You can give more to others. It's super important to have this mentality and to understand this principle, because when I was younger, I didn't really understand that. I would always just go out with friends, and I would always just do so much for others. I even did so much for my past relationships, and I just kept being available all the time. I was just a phone call away. I was just a text away. I would text people right away. I would call them right away if they called me. But if they called me, I would do all of these things. But I realized that my energy is being taken away from me, and I'm not even progressing in life compared to other people, because I'm just super available. I'm just being super, super, super out there. And it really messed me up at a certain point where I felt really depressed, right? I was very depressed with myself because I felt like my life wasn't going anywhere. My health was going down the drain. I just didn't give a shit about how I looked. I would just go out in public looking like a slob all the time. I wouldn't get a haircut. I wouldn't get a haircut for like months. I would grow my beard out like really, really long and not groom it, because I was like, oh, who cares, man? It doesn't matter. Whatever. But I realized that I didn't feel truly good about myself, and I was seeking validation from others to feel good. But I didn't like look in the mirror and tell myself, "Man, you look good today, man. You're a confident person." No, I was seeking that energy. I was seeking those comments and opinions and stuff from other people before I accepted myself. If that makes any sense. I was constantly, trying to get attention from girls. I was constantly trying to be the center of attention in social settings. I always tried to do that. And whenever I did, whenever I would go home, I would just feel exhausted. I would, and then when I didn't get that compliment that I wanted, oh man, you're looking really buff, bro. If I never got that from someone, that would hurt me. That would hurt me deep down. I'm like, why didn't that person validate me? Why didn't that person say, wow, man, you're looking big. You're looking buff, man. You're hitting the gym a lot. But other people have said it, but this person didn't say it. That gets to your head. It does get to your head. And people respect when you say no to things. You don't have to always accept things, but people also respect the fact that you're working on yourself. Because the thing is, you only have this one body, right? There's no multiple versions of you, as far as we know, So you need to work on yourself. You need to sculpt yourself. You need to sculpt yourself into the best version possible, so you're able to give back to others. You're able to, bring more value to society. And in the process of you working on yourself, in the process of you learning new skills, in the process of you trying to dress better, trying to look better, trying to get your money up, whatever. In that process, you feel good. You develop confidence in yourself. You develop a good self-esteem. You doubt yourself less. You realize that you're capable. You have a high potential to achieve great things. But it starts with yourself. It starts with grooming yourself. It starts with working on yourself. And I think a lot of people who are young, I think people who are teenagers, even up until the early 20, mid-20s, people are just stuck in this cycle of always seeking validation from others and always putting others first before they put themselves first. A lot of people do this. And I also realized another thing too, that even some people may say that, like, yo, I'm working on myself, like I'm doing all this, I'm doing all that. But actions speak louder than words. And sometimes sometimes it's just empty words that people say. But in reality, behind closed doors, they feel very empty inside. They feel like they've given out too much energy to others. Right? And that energy and that time could have been used to invest in themselves. But they tell themselves that, oh, it's okay, it's okay. I'm a good person. I'm giving back to everybody out there. I'm always I have to be available with my friends all the time. I have to be available for my family all the time. I always have to go to social settings all the time whenever I'm invited. I always have to accept favors from others. I always have to do this. I always have to do that. In a rush, and I have to reply right away to a text. I have to call that person back right away because they call me. No, you do not need to do that. You do not need to do that. It hurts yourself in the process in the long run. It really does. And whether you like it or not, people notice that. People notice that you're always available. People notice that. Why is this guy always answering my text right away? Why is this guy always sending me messages? Doesn't he have anyone else to message? Why is this guy always doing this? Why is he always available for me? I could call this guy within a second and he'll come be my slave. He'll come do whatever I want for me. Doesn't this guy have a life? Isn't this guy working on himself? Isn't this guy have other projects or other ambitions? Why is he always available for me? That is the type of mentality that people have. When you're too available, when you're always doing things for others without focusing on yourself first. So please, don't fall into this trap. come to the realization that you need to work on yourself first.